Hey guys, we are live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I haven't done one of these in a while. Tonight, it's a live question and answer session. And I'll tell you, we were overwhelmed today with the amount of questions that we received. So we've got a lot to start. If you're watching this live and there's something that you want to talk about, there's a question that you want answered, put it into the comment box. And if you are watching this live, when doing it here with me tonight, let me know where you are out there in the world, where you're watching from. I always love to see that. So we're going to cover a lot of different topics tonight. So many people had questions about finances, about relationships, about a career, all sorts of things. So we're going to touch on each and every one of them. So again, if you're watching this now and you have something you want to talk about, just drop it into the chat on the side. I'm going to try to make it fair. I'm going to try to prioritize the live comments, because if you're making the effort to be here with me tonight live, because I don't know how this is going to turn out. Like I said, we haven't done one in a while. So I really appreciate it. So I'm going to go try to do the live questions as much as possible. So, but we do have a lot of questions, like I said, that we've received. So we're going to get to those as well. So anything that you want to talk about, anything that's on your mind, any questions you have about anything that I talk about, something maybe you don't understand or something you disagree with, just drop it in the box. Okay. So that is tonight. It's our live Q&A. And it's easy. Tell me your problem. I will help you solve it. I'm pretty good at that. I've been doing this for a long time. Now it's just laid back tonight. We're just having fun. So there's no stress, no anxiety. As a matter of fact, one of the questions that I just found right before I came on here was from Mila in my Facebook community. And her question was, how do I cure my anxieties? And she didn't respond. I said, what specifically are we talking about? But I didn't hear back from her. So I'm not sure exactly which thing we're talking about here. But, just general strokes. If you have anxiety, because I suffered from this, and I've toured the world for 30 years, and the first 20 of them, I had such severe anxiety, no matter where I was, no matter what I was doing. And I never knew why. That's one of the big things about anxiety. Most people don't know where it's coming from. Now, you have to remember, though, anxiety in stressful situations is normal, because you want to feel that. Those are red flags telling you, so you want to know. So in a situation where maybe you're have to give a speech in front of a group of people, that is the number one thing that people are afraid of. It's literally ahead of death, like Jerry Seinfeld used to say, right? But it's true. People would they worry less about death than they do about talking in front of strangers. So it could be something like that. It could be taking a big test. Maybe you're taking your law exam or something. So stress is normal in those situations. It's only when stress becomes keeps you from your everyday life. It becomes obsessive. Feelings become obsessive. Becomes all consuming. Then it becomes a problem. So Mila, sorry, you have to figure out, first of all, is it coming from a real place? In other words, is your anxiety stemming from something that's really affecting you now? Okay. Is it anxiety from something that already happened? Because, of course, nothing you can do about that, right? That's one of those things you can let go, you can work on. Is it anxiety about something that you're afraid is going to happen in the future? Again, not much you can do about that from here. Now, if it's anxiety that, is real in your life, you have to kind of find out where it's coming from. And the best way to do that is to identify the triggers and find out, write it down. When do you start to feel that way? What's going on at that time? And once you start doing that a few times, you will start to see the triggers. The triggers will lead you right back, okay, to the reason for the anxiety. And like I say all the time, most of these things were created when we were immature. We were a child, because so much of that programming is ingrained in us when we're, under 10 years of age. So you have to remember, you weren't logical, you weren't mature, you were a kid. And what you had to do then, maybe to survive, isn't how you have to live now. But it's that old rusty programming that starts running again. And because our thoughts are powerful, they have energy, and so do our feelings. And we have our feelings tied to our thoughts. And this is true. Start thinking about a breakup that you had that was bad, and watch how you feel. You'll start to get the feelings again, because our brain doesn't know whether we're living something in reality or we're doing it in our mind. And we talked about this the other night. I did a video and we talked about sports psychology, and they hire those people to come in and work with sports teams, because I do a lot of training with professional athletes and the Cleveland Browns and things like that. Well, they hire sports psychologists to come in and they teach the player how to do the routine in their mind. They're making the baskets, they're running the race, but they're doing it in their mind. It's mental rehearsal. And so many successful people understand this. They use this as part of their toolkit, that makes them so successful. So that's my advice to you without knowing too much about your particular situation. Contact me by private message. You're in the Facebook community. Send me a message and just tell me what it is specifically, and I'll get you some of my free resources and some tools that they can help you. Okay. So Mila, I want to thank you for your question. And let's see, we are live. Hello. Hey. How do you get over? Here is a question. Here's a live question. How do you get over deep-seated mental blocks? I'm doing shadow work, but it's driving me nuts. Okay, great question. Deep-seated mental blocks. So if you're watching this, and obviously you are, just give me a little more information. Like, are we talking about something from childhood? Are we talking about a block against what? Finances, coming into your life, relationships? What is the block doing specifically? Let me know that. And I can talk about it a little bit more. And if you're doing shadow work, that's fantastic, because for those people who don't know, you've got to do that. You've got to do that work with your shadow, your inner saboteur. And that's how you start breaking free of all that programming. You have to not feel it all again. You don't have to go through it. I always tell people, you don't have to live through the problem again, but you are able to go back, not in a way where you get pulled into it emotionally. You're able to go back and you're able to deal with it. And what happens over time, it starts creating space. It gives you power. You no longer get sucked into these dramatic confrontations that normally you would have flown into. It starts giving you time, and you start to realize, wow, it's kind of moving in slow motion. And that all comes from shadow work. And that's a very important thing to do. So I'll go into it a little bit. If you want to tell me kind of where the block is, if it's a financial thing, if it's a relationship thing, do that in the comments. But to get over any deep-seated mental block is you have to realize that it's there. So the first thing is awareness. And I tell people all the time, get some Post-it notes. I keep them next to the desk all the time. Keep some index cards, right? And write down what's on your mind. That mind, the subconscious of your mind, is programmed when you're a child. It's what's running in your mind now. So you've got to get in there and figure out what's going on. So anytime we slip out of the current moment, we go into autopilot. That's the old rusty tape that starts. So when you were a child, if you were taught money was evil, for instance, or only people that, you have to be greedy to have money or something like that, that can create a financial money block. Can create something where you're almost repelling money because you don't want to be a person who is seen as greedy or seen as evil. And it's literally your subconscious is doing it to you, and you don't realize, because you would think that's ridiculous. I want to have money. I don't want this, right? But you don't think about it like that. Okay. I wish I could talk. I'm wanting to get several ideas online, but something about screwing up stops me. Funny, I have no fear of public speaking, but is broadcasting public speaking? Of course. I mean, here's the thing. I've been doing this for 30 years and I get on stage in front of thousands of people. For me, that's easier than this. To sit here and talk to, a webcam is much more difficult, because I still don't think you're getting the real me, because there's still a little bit of, stage speaker right now, and this is a really laid back situation. So I have the same thing, but mine is backwards. So of course broadcasting is public speaking. I mean, you're connecting to people, and for what you do, you're a radio DJ, right? You connect to people very intimately. I mean, people that are going to work, coming home from work, whatever is going on in their life, you're a voice. And you probably connect more because you're not a face, right? If you're a radio broadcaster, it's just like a disembodied voice that they kind of fall in love with. But what holds us back is the fear of doing anything. I mean, right? Our mind is there to protect us. Our brain is there to give us a warning if it thinks we're in danger. And the thing is, we are so comfortable as a society, we don't need that. Not for, I'm about to go outside and there's a bear there. Now I have to worry, right? Now it's like, is Mary mad at me? Is the dress I'm wearing today, not me, but is the dress that you're wearing today make my hips look big? Or did I eat too much pudding with dessert or whatever? That's what we're using it for. And so we want to stay in this comfort zone because that is uncomfortable. When we're pushed outside the box a little bit, the brain doesn't have any files on that. It wants you to stay where you are. So your brain's going to fight you. It does whatever it can do to tell you why you can't accomplish something, why you should procrastinate, why you should put it off. A great thing to do is, first of all, come up with a goal, because a lot of people don't have a concrete goal. They think, I want to be rich, I want to be thin, I want to be in a loving relationship, but there's no goal. There's no end game. You can't see what it is that you want. It's very general. And to bring mind power into the game here, you can't without that definite intention of what it is that you're going for. Then you can start manifesting it into your life. So let's get to one of the questions we received earlier, because like I said, I want to get through some of these because we got so many. So here is our first question. It is, let's see, you guys can see it, right? It's from Samantha. She's in the group as well. How can I stop racing thoughts and constant talking inside my head? I did a video on this last night. I always talk about the bitchy roommate, because the bitchy roommate is the person that lives inside your head rent free. It's like having a bitchy roommate that you can't get away from. They narrate your life. They tell you all the horrible things you've done. They tell you all the horrible things that are going to happen. They tell you why you can never do the things you want to do, that you don't deserve those things. Those things are for other people. That's the bitchy roommate. That's the voice inside your head. We've all got one. And if you don't think you have one, right now, I want you to say hello inside your head. Do you hear that? That the voice inside your head, there are two distinct voices. There's the voice that just narrates everything, that's talking in there, that's warning you about everything, right? That's a mechanical, that's a mechanism. And then there's the voice you can make talk. Like if I said right now, I want you to say the word house inside your mind, and now say it louder, and now say it louder. You can do that. You're in control. So you have those two distinct voices, but the problem is most people confuse them. They don't know which is which. They think there's one voice going on, like it's the voice of God or the voice of the future. It's not. You've got your conditioned past, the brain that wants to help us, that mindset, that voice. And then there's the voice that you can make happen, like when you're trying to think of something from your past to use constructively. Okay. So the voice inside your head, mine ran nonstop all the time, 24/7. When I would fall asleep with it, I would wake up with it, and it would never let me go. Your mind is the one thing in the universe that knows you. It knows you better than anyone else knows you, because it knows all the things that you've ever done that you never got caught doing, all the things you would die of embarrassment if people found out. Your mind knows. And guess what? It hates you so much, it will use those things against you. And I talked about this the other night. Think about this. Is a terrifying fact. Nobody's ever committed suicide without their brain, their mind telling them to do it, right? Your mind can literally kill you. It can work that horribly against you if you let it, if you don't train it, if you don't get it in a position where you're in control, because now we think we're slaves to the mind and we're just not. It's the other way around, but we are so used to our mind running the show. So if you want to stop racing thoughts and constant talking in your head, the first thing, and I tell everyone the same thing, name the voice. If you name the voice, name it, mine's Carl, name the voice, give it an identity. Okay, I don't care if it's Betty, if it's Joe, if it's Jim Bob, whatever the name is, the funnier the better. Because the reason you're doing it is you're going to look at that voice in your head like a child, like a petulant, nasty bully of a kid. Okay, it's no longer an adult on, on your intellectual level. It's a little tiny, mad, upset, angry kid. And so when you do that, especially by giving it a name, what you are doing is destroying any power that holds over you. Because now when the voice starts, you can go like I do. Oh, there goes Carl again. Carl is so crazy today. Listen to what Carl's saying. And you look at it again like a child, and it takes all the power away. It takes all the sting away. It's not the voice of God. It's not the voice of the future. It's the voice of a little unstable child who just wants attention. And if you look at it that way, that will start to stop. Okay. And also, like I just said, awareness. Awareness is a key in any kind of mind work, because until you can become aware of it, you can't do anything about it. You're not going to be able to fix it. So take those Post-it notes, take those index cards, keep them all over the place, keep a pen next to the bed. Okay, because what I want you to do is I want you to start finding out what's on your mind, and you do that by stopping several times a day. And so take some Post-it notes, right? Get a thing of Post-it notes, draw a heart, draw a happy face, draw anything that makes you look at it and kind of stop. Okay, so any kind of little picture, put those all over the place, and anytime you see it, it's your motivation to stop and figure out what's on your mind. What are you thinking right then? Take the pen, write it down. Don't judge it. Don't get upset. Don't get pulled into it by any means. Okay. But write it down and then go about your business, and do that 4 or 5 times a day, more if you can. Repetition is magic. Repetition is a power that if you do things, because you got here by repetition, these bad habits got us here. Okay, me eating Sara Lee and potato chips for 20 years got me in the situation where, I'm juicing and losing weight, but now I've got to make this huge effort to do it. Repetition will also get you out. So me getting up every morning and doing my morning routine and then walking is just repetition. I don't want to do it. I get up and I do it because I know that if I do it today, and I did it yesterday, and I'm going to do it tomorrow, I know that my mind isn't going to get me out of it because it knows I'm doing it. That's what happens when you set an intention. When you say, I'm going to do something, and you actually do it, magic happens, because your mind, again, who is used to running the show, will start to slink into the background and go, okay, there's not even any use trying to throw up excuses and try to make him stop. I'll just slink to the back and let him do his thing. Okay. Because it knows, right? But it doesn't want to be trained. It's like anything. It doesn't want to be trained. So it's going to do everything it can. The first time you meditate, your mind's going to tell you all the reasons you can't do it, all the reasons it's stupid, all the reasons that your back hurts, your legs sore, you have to make this for lunch, the kids are crying, whatever. There's always something. But your mind is going to throw up everything it can. So awareness, awareness, awareness. Find out what's on your mind as much as you can. And that's going to help you to know, okay, am I being negative most of the time? Because we are 80% of the time. If you're not working on yourself, if you're not working on your mindset, you're negative about 80% of the time. That is overwhelming. That's what you're bringing into your life. That's what you're affirming. That's what you're creating. That's what you're manifesting, is negativity. If you live in it, nobody's at 50 anymore. And that's bad. Now it's 80% negative. Okay. And only 20% of positive. So think about that. Okay. We'll get to the next one. The next question is from Carrie, also in the group. Carrie is always broke. Belief doesn't work. Help. Well, Carrie, I can tell you this. I can tell by the way this question is worded that belief is not going to work for you, because you're saying, first of all, I'm always broke. So if you had true belief, you would never say I'm always broke, because by saying I'm always broke, you're affirming I'm always broke. If you believe in the power of the mind, if you believe in yourself as a manifester, then you are just affirming that you're always going to be broke. So the reason that you may be broke is because you are affirming it to yourself. If you think you're the kind of person that doesn't deserve money, if you think you're the kind of person that only certain people have money, it can't be you, only lucky people, only this, only that, that is not going to work. Okay. You have to have belief, and I'm talking unwavering belief. I did a video last night on the book that changed my life, The Magic of Believing. And that's exactly what it is, because belief is a magic power. If you can develop that in your life, and some people that are overconfident, they have no reason to be. From the outside, you look at them and go, wow, that guy's got a lot of confidence for no reason. That's what you're thinking, right? But they manifest miracles in their life sometimes because the power of belief is so strong. And it's almost an insane amount of belief, because to make it work, to make mind power work, to make the law of attraction work, to do anything where you're manifesting your life, you're creating your life, you're a co-creator of your life with the universe, with God, with source, whatever you believe in, you are co-creating this existence. If you're living in negativity, if you're living in abundance or lack mindsets, it's going to determine how your life is. It's going to determine the life that you're living. Okay. So The Magic of Believing, by the way, great book. You can get it online. It's, and again, I'm not selling anything. I have nothing to sell to you. I'm here tonight for you. I'm trying to help you. So there's no kind of links you have to click. If you go online, you can probably find, I think there's a free audio version on YouTube, but just look up The Magic of Believing by Claude Bristol, because belief is a superpower. It really, really is. So if you're saying that to yourself, if you're affirming that, and if you believe that you're always going to be broke, there's not much you can do about it, because it's a subconscious pattern. It's a thought pattern. It's something that it's existing under the circuitry of your normal rational mind. You can't get in there and fix that. It's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. It's not going to help. It's not going to fix the underlying issue. So you have to figure out why you have a money block. You have to figure out, okay, how was I raised? What was the ideas I was raised with about money? Okay, you have to do that. I always talk about my mom, because my mom is that loves the casino, and she's been many times to shows I've done at casinos, and she's not a gambling addict by any means. She just goes occasionally, but she always says that when you say or she'll say, I don't know why I'm going, I never win. Well, that's a horrible affirmation to make, especially when you're about to go to the casino. Okay, so if you're affirming that to yourself, find out why. Awareness is a key. Again, awareness, awareness, awareness. So find out what it is that's giving you that. Okay, what is it? There's a block there for sure, but belief does work. Okay, it does work, and you're using belief the wrong way here, because you're using it in I believe I'm always going to be broke, instead of I believe that everything is available to me. Okay, it's not just for a few. I can have what it is that I want. I can make my dreams come true. But you got to know what that dream is. You got to know where you're going, like I talked about earlier. So that is going to help you there. All right. Figure out where that money block comes from. Go back to your childhood and figure out why it is that you think that way about money. Dante is drinking some tea here. Is the law of attraction real or BS for the PG audience? The law of attraction is very, very real. And if you want to try it for yourself, you want to go against it, you can see how real it can be. The idea of the law of attraction, though, is in The Magic of Believing. And back then it's not called that. The idea that it's been given this title, and it's been treated like a secret, and to sell books and that sort of thing. It is, of course, very, very real. But I don't buy in so much to the hype of it now, because the books from back then, they kind of laid it all out without all this extra, where there's always a course to buy or a thing to do, that sort of thing. Okay, he gives you everything in The Magic of Believing that you need. Okay, you don't have to work with me. You don't have to ever buy anything from me. I'm telling you, you can go to get a copy of The Magic of Believing. It's a dated book, but every celebrity, I've worked with so many celebrities that book transformed their life. I talked about it last night. Joan Rivers, we talked about The Magic of Believing. She introduced me to somebody that I had loved ever since I was a child, which was the iconic Phyllis Diller, also probably one of the first female stand-up comedians. Now, she was in her 40s. She was a housewife. Her friend said, not funny, but she had a dream of becoming a stand-up comedian, getting in front of people. And this book changed her life. She read it over and over and over and over and over. She dog-eared the pages. She underlined it. She lived it. She took that book and she turned it into, she was still talking about the book I think she was 95 when she died. So into her 90s, giving that book the credit for transforming her life. Because it's a system of thought that you use, and you start taking over your subconscious. You start taking it back from the programming that's going on. Dionne Warwick was somebody else I've worked with that we talked all about the magic of believing. And I'll tell you, celebrities understand these sort of things. Celebrities, they have nannies and business managers and people to do all the things that we're worried about doing all the time. They have a lot more time. You may think, oh, their life is so hectic, but the little things they don't have to do. Okay. Gavin MacLeod, the captain of the Love Boat, who was a great friend of mine. He was a big believer in the law of attraction, in the idea that your mind can change your reality. He was very religious, but he still kept that. It wasn't someone who, there are so many religious people that find anything that's it's not even outside of that, because it's in the Bible. It's all in through there, the power of the mind. Okay. And when you bring something by repeated affirmation, by repeated visualization, you bring it to yourself. Most of the time, it's a negative thing. Most of the time, it's because you're thinking so many negative things and it's coming into your life. Like in the Bible, Job said, the thing I most feared has come upon me, right? I've created it, I've manifested it, I brought it into my life. So you have to be careful with that. Like I said, the affirmations, but the law of attraction is very, very real. But it doesn't work like people think it works, which is, I'm going to start thinking about a Ferrari. Oh man, I want a Ferrari. I'm sitting in that Ferrari. Oh man, I feel those leather seats in that Ferrari. I'm driving that thing. Oh, I can feel the wind in my hair, and then it's going to be in the driveway. That's not how it works. That's just daydreaming. That's without that intention, without that action, without that movement, nothing is going to happen. You've got to start moving in that direction. And then all of a sudden, magic happens. Doors open. Things align for you that weren't happening for you before. It's not mystical. It's not hokum. It's the truth. We are so inundated with programming in our lives today. Everything. We are programmed what we should wear, what we should eat, what we should look like, how much money we should have, what we should do, who we should like, who we should hate. It's all programming and it's all bullshit. So why not work on yourself instead of hating someone else, instead of thinking about all the horrible things that are happening that you can't do anything about? If there are things you can do, go out there and do something. But if there's things that you can't do, instead of thinking about that, why don't you take some time, work on yourself? You make your life better. You're going to improve the lives of your family, your children. You can change the entire generational line of your family by just changing yourself. You'll inspire other people. It'll be an amazing thing. That's how we make real change. That's how the law of attraction comes into being in your life. When you start showing the faith, the belief, and you start believing in yourself. Mind power comes from you. It is in you right now. You don't have to go out and buy anything. You don't have to learn it from me. You don't have to do anything. It is there. It is just flipped off. You have to flip it back on. Okay. And when you do, and you flip the switch and you take control. Some of you, for the first time, I didn't do it until I was in my 30s and I'm 48 now. Some people never do it. Some people wait their entire lives and they never realize there's anything else. So it is very real, Dante. Instead of discounting it, why not try something? Why not try it in your life? Why not try some positivity and some affirmations and that sort of thing? It can only help. I promise you it can only help. And it will also show you the places in your mindset where you can pick the low-hanging fruit. You'll find the things that are going to be the easiest for you, the things that will almost fall away without much effort. You don't have to dig into your childhood and go into trauma and all that stuff. You don't. That's how therapists stay in business. Okay? They make you go through your trauma. You have to relive all your horrors. You have to do all that. That's a bunch of crap. You don't have to relive all that stuff. It's already been through you. It's been through your DNA. You're holding onto the memory and you have attached it to the feelings and you've got the thoughts there. And it is this whole amalgamation of pain and regret and all of these things that no longer serve you. Those are low-hanging fruit. If you examine them at all, they'll fall away. You don't need to do much to get those out of your life. Erica, right? Erica, what is your morning, evening routine? I haven't talked about this in a while. I did a video on it once, but my morning routine now is I wake up every morning, no alarm clock, somewhere between 5 and 5:45. So just body clock, never set an alarm, always up. Okay. So I like to meditate very first thing. I mean, literally roll out of bed. Now, because I've gone to the bathroom already 3 or 4 times during the night because I have, tiny bladder, I guess. So I usually don't have to do that. I roll out of bed. I get to the meditation chair. I use a chair and I meditate. So I meditate. I do transcendental meditation for somewhere between 20 minutes is the minimum you're supposed to do. And I do somewhere between 30 and an hour and 15. So, because you don't really want to set an alarm, I found with meditation. You don't want to get startled out of that, especially transcendental meditation, because you're super deep. I mean, I'm sometimes crying. You don't even know what's happening. You're releasing things you have no idea. And it's so amazing because the brain fog that so many of us have now disappears in meditation. It goes away. And I'm talking about from your regular life. Meditation creeps into your everyday life the more you do it. That's the amazing thing. So I do the meditation. I use a transcendental meditation app on my phone. If that's something you're interested in, you just find a teacher near you. Look up tm.org, I think is the address. You can find a teacher near you. You can learn it. It is an amazing technique. You're repeating a mantra over and over in your mind. It's a mantra they give you. You never say it out loud. It's never written down. It's kind of your personal thing. Okay. You hold it. It's almost like a prayer. It doesn't have meaning as far as the words meaning something. It's more of the vibration. It's more of the idea that you're repeating a word in your mind that isn't something you know. So if you were thinking ice cream cone, I can tell you what would happen with me, and I don't even eat dairy anymore, but I'd be thinking about ice cream. So if you're doing a sound, it becomes much easier to go deep. And that's what happens in transcendental meditation. You go down to the unified field. You're at the very creation of everything. And that's where inspiration comes from. And that's where, artistry comes from. That is where confidence comes from. That is where love for yourself comes from. Meditation will get you there. Transcendental meditation turns the mind inward. So instead of like we normally are, which is everything going on and we're in this crazy monkey mind, it's a technique that turns the mind inward and it drills inside you. So it's going down and you're hitting that unified field. And I'm getting shivers talking about it because when you hit that, you know it, because somewhere in that meditation, you're deep and you get these waves of bliss. I don't know what else to call it. It's an amazing, amazing thing. And when that happens, it gives you the motivation to keep doing it. But like I said earlier, it's repetition. So sorry, the long-winded answer, but that's the first thing I do. So I meditate, very first thing. I'm a Buddhist. I chant for 15 minutes. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which is the chant of the universe. Again, it's the sound, it's the vibration of those words. It unlocks the subconscious mind. It makes things happen. If you set your intention, this is what I'm chanting for today, and you set that intention and you chant, and I'm talking about with that intention, that it's a powerful thing because you've affirmed to yourself, to the universe, that you're going to make this happen. And so it's unlocking the power within you. I don't care where you are, who you are, what your religion is. I really don't. And what you believe in, that's fantastic. But whatever it is you believe in, you have to also believe in you. You can't put everything in the hands of someone else, some other power, and then you become a middleman in your own life. You have to at least take co-creation responsibilities because you are creating this life. And whatever you believe in, you're a creation and you're here to live the best life possible and help as many people as possible and see as many amazing things as possible. And like a lot of people believe, God is seeing through our eyes. He created the universe. He can't see it. He can't live it, but he can see it through everyone's eyes. He can experience it that way. Think about that, right? So the first thing is the meditation. Then I do the chanting. Then I do, and I'll show you because I have it here underneath my desk. I do gratitude. So this is a gratitude journal. I have stacks and stacks of these. And I do, some days I do automatic writing. That would look like this. Automatic writing is when you put the paper down and the pen and you just start writing and you don't stop. Okay. It doesn't even have, you're not going to read it later, so it doesn't make any difference. Okay. But you know what you're writing. Okay. And you're eventually you'll start to feel some amazing things because you're kind of running out of, right? You're just, your hands going. And all of a sudden you'll start to release some things. You'll be writing things you never thought you would write. Trust me. But gratitude is a great way to start. So, one page, write down all the things you're grateful for right now. All the things you're grateful for right now. So what do you have that you're grateful for? Well, you woke up this morning. So don't tell me there's nothing, because that's something, right? But everything, if you've got a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever, you've got an animal, you've got a roof over your head, you've got food on the table, whatever that is. Okay. All the things you're grateful for now. And I want you to feel it when you write it. You want to feel it. You want feeling, because the more feeling, that creates the magic. That creates the movement. That creates things coming into your life because you're putting out the frequency. You're putting out the vibration of that positive energy. You're putting out that intention of what you want, and you're creating that. Okay. The mind is an incredible tool, but not when it's not being used correctly. It's being aimed in all different directions. It's like, a child with a gun. I mean, it's a dangerous weapon to be playing with if you don't understand the magnitude of its power. Okay. So gratitude is huge. You write down the things you're grateful for now. All of a sudden, like magic, as you're feeling it, you'll start to get more things to be grateful for. That's what happens. It's just like magic. And you can sit there watching this, but if you've never tried it and you think, oh, this is baloney, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because I'm telling you, you've got to try it. At least try it for yourself. Again, there's nothing to buy. Just do it. It's just you and you. No one's going to know. Okay. There's a better version of you waiting. There's a you 2.0 that's waiting to come out, but you're going to have to be the one that turns the key and unlocks that inside you. Nobody can do it for you. I can sit here and tell you all these tricks and techniques and strategies that I've used with clients and students and attendees to my shows over 30 years. But me telling you isn't going to do anything. You've got to take the action step to actually do it. Okay. So whatever the morning routine is, you decide on, you just have to stick with it. So I do gratitude. One page is all gratitude, all the things I'm grateful for now. And then on the other side, I script what I am creating. Okay. So this is what I talked about earlier. When you don't have an end game, you don't have a goal. Gavin, who we talked about a minute ago, who was, of course, the captain of the Love Boat in the very famous TV show, The Love Boat. And it was so funny. I wrote him a fan letter when I was a kid. And when I actually met him as an adult, and we became great friends, he did a routine in my show for Princess Cruises. And he lived in Palm Desert. I lived in Palm Springs. So we saw him all the time for lunch and that sort of thing. But he always used to say that life was like a cruise ship, because a cruise ship is a $500 million machine. It is the most sophisticated, right? You go up to the bridge, they type in the destination in the computer, they push a few buttons. No one even needs to be on the bridge. That ship will end up at that next port. Okay. It's amazing. But it's, of course, because there's a destination, there's input, right? What would happen if they took the same ship and all of the computers were just turned off? So somebody went on the bridge and they started the engines and they pushed everything forward and they just walked away. Would the ship arrive at the next port of call? Of course it wouldn't. It would crash somewhere, probably very soon upon leaving, because there's no destination. And that's what so many people do. They have a vague idea of what they want. So this is how you fix that. This is called scripting. Okay. You take a piece of paper, you take a pen, and you're going to script what it is that you want, but you're going to write it like it's happening now, like it's already happened. So in other words, it would be, I am one of the, I have this, I live here, I do whatever it is that you want, but you're going to write it as if it's already happened, like you're writing a letter to someone and just telling them all about your life, your amazing, incredible life. And as you're writing it, the more you can feel it, the more you can see it. You have to become the person you were meant to be. And to do that, you have to find that person inside you. And so you've got to start giving yourself the feelings. If you want to be a specific type of person, how does that person act? How does that person talk? Where does that person go? What does that person do? They always say fake it till you make it. And people think fake it till you make it means buy a fake Rolex, rent a Rolls Royce, and pretend like you're rich until you're actually rich. That's what people think it means. What it means is you're gonna have to start believing it before it's actually happened. It's not I'll believe it when I see it, right? It's I'll see it when I believe it, because you've got to believe it first. Belief has to come first. So it's very, very important. That belief is going to just change so many things. So script your life, script the dream life, whatever it is you want, write it down with as much feeling as you can do. Then, so I've done those two things. I usually listen to a guided meditation. You can find those on YouTube. I have some on our YouTube channel, Brent Webb Official. Again, they're free. It's just me. I'm guiding you through the process. I'm taking you into a guided meditation. It's called that for a reason. And I'm talking relatively on those. I'm pretty good, right? I'm trying to be chill because we're trying to get you down into that kind of that brainwave activity where you're not, all that anxiety is not overwhelming. So usually listen to some sort of guided meditation, and then I'll watch some YouTube videos about something that I want to do or somewhere that I want to go, and just get it in my mind, just feel it. Okay. And a vision board is a great thing too. Get a board, a cork board, a dry erase board, put pictures on it of the things you want, the house you want, the car you want, the weight you want to be, whatever that is. Put it where you can see it, look at it, visualize it, see it, be reminded of it, be reminded of your goals. Because it's so long we've shut down our goals, our dreams. We kind of put them away because we think, they're not for us anymore. They're for young people or whatever the dumb reason is. You can have those things, but you're going to have to do some work. You didn't get here in a day. You're not going to get out of here in a day, right? So you've got to do some work, but it's the best work because it's work on you. And it's work that once you do, it's going to transform your life. You'll never have to do it again. And how many times have we done things where we do them over and over? I don't, how many diets I've been on in my life where you just do it and then you gain and you lose and then you lose. And it's a never ending cycle until you make that change, until you're finally like I was, just so sick of it. I'm done. I've tried all the food I want to try. I don't need to try one more lemon meringue pie. I know what they taste like. I stopped eating meat a year ago. I stopped eating eggs and milk 8 months ago, but I just didn't give up cheese. And then I finally thought I'm done. So I gave up cheese several months ago, and it's been amazing. I've been juicing. I've been feeling great, but I was just fed up. And sometimes that's what it takes. I've been through many things. I mean, financial things, and I've made it. I've lost it. I've made it. I've been through cancer. I've been through drinking. I've been through smoking. I've been through popping pain pills. And I can tell you that you've got to get to that point where you're going to allow your mind power to come in and help you, because otherwise it's over, because your mind will start working against you. Like I said earlier, and then those, even suicidal thoughts, that your mind is working against you. Okay. Next question. How can I start to meditate? Oh, good question. I haven't seen these, by the way. So it's good. We just talked about that. How can I start to meditate? I'm a beginner. It's from Eben. I have an uncle. I have a cousin now. I had an uncle who passed away, but I don't think that's you in the picture. If you want to try meditating, that's fantastic. It's a great thing to start doing because it really will start to transform your mindset. It'll start to transform your life because it'll leak out into your daily life, and you'll start realizing, wow, I'm more calm. Wow, I'm not as easily angered as I used to be. Okay. So meditation is fantastic. So great. If you want to start and you've never done it before, I would start with 5 minutes. Okay. Because again, your mind is going to tell you all the things that you have to do and all the places you have to go and so many better things that you need to be doing instead of this. So you don't want to try to do 20 minutes off the bat because you're not going to be able to do it. And as humans, we beat ourselves up when we do that, right? So why? Just start with 5 minutes. Make it easy on yourself. Sit, if you can, cross-legged on the floor. And I still chant on the floor. I use a chair for transcendental meditation with my feet flat. But if I was doing like a mindful meditation where I'm just in the moment, I'm not doing a mantra, I'm just sitting, I would sit cross-legged with my hand, my hand on each knee, hand on each knee. And you don't want to move, because the movement is what your body's going to do to try to disrupt everything. So the less you can move, your body's going to move, the better. So it's 5 minutes for just being still. And a great way to start is just count. I tell people count to 20. And there's a reason, because if you get to 50, you've gone too far. And if that happens, you just go back to 1. If you get to 24, you've gone too far. You go back to 1. So that's all you got to do. You don't beat yourself up. You don't get mad. You don't wonder when things are going to happen. That's the worst thing you can do. When I meditate every morning, the first thing I say is I release all expectations from this meditation, because I don't expect anything. I've had unbelievable meditations, the deepest. I've experienced things you wouldn't even believe if I told you. And then I've had very surface level meditations. But the idea that you go in, I'm not going in there looking for anything. So you want to release that. You don't want to, be waiting for this moment when, you're going to see flashing lights. That may very well happen, but you don't want to have to be expecting that, because again, that becomes then part of it. You're expecting this thing to happen. So you want to release that at the very beginning. So you sit there, set an alarm for 5 minutes and just count to 20 in your head silently over and over again. You get to 20, you go back to 1. You get to 20, you go back to 1. Always pull back your focus. If you go anywhere else, you start thinking about anything, and I don't care if it's a minute, if it's 2 minutes, if it's 4 minutes and 49 seconds into the meditation, whatever. The minute you realize that you're thinking about something else, just go back to 1. You don't get engaged by it. You don't get mad at yourself for doing it. You just go right back to 1, 2, 3. And that's all you do constantly. The pullback of your focus, the repetition of that move is like strengthening a muscle. Your mind is becoming super powerful. Every time you pull back your focus, every time you bring your willpower back home, every time you bring your power back to your center, you're getting immense abilities from that, because the next time you're going to have more willpower, and over time with repetition, you're building a muscle that's going to do amazing things in your life. Okay. So 5 minutes, cross-legged on the floor. You can put your back against the wall if you have to, against a chair or something, or sit, in the middle of the floor. Doesn't matter. Count to 20, 1 to 20, 1 to 20, 1 to 20. That's all you got to do. Try to not to move. Add a minute every week, once a week. Do that until you hit 20 minutes. Do that for a while. It'll change your life. Guaranteed. Guaranteed it will change your life. Somebody's asking, can we ask questions here? You can. If you have a question, drop it into the comment box. We are live. It is 10 till 8, and I am taking your questions. We haven't done one of these in a while, but we've gotten a bunch of questions sent in today before the program. But if you have something you want to ask live, just drop it into the box there. I will get to it, I promise, before the end. Okay. So let's get to our next question. That was our meditation question. Very good. This is from Alex. Alex is in our Facebook group. Sorry, I'm drinking tea again. A lot of talking. I know what you're thinking. Don't think that. Alex, you always sow. You always say, perhaps. So someone on my team screwed that up, but that's all right. You always say we are programmed. What does this mean? Well, it means that we're programmed. It means that from the moment you're born, you're programmed. I mean, the people around you are programming you. They're not doing it maliciously most of the time. They were programmed too. They don't know any better. They don't know any different. You can't be mad at someone for not teaching you something that they didn't know. So you have to let that go right away. But you have to realize that you are programmed, because when you come out, you're a blank slate. You don't have a religion. You don't have racism. You don't have homophobia. You don't have sexism. You don't have any of that. You are a blank slate. When we're kids, we're happy, we laugh. When we're sad, we cry. It's an amazing thing. Imagination is real. We can become a prince. We can become Superman. We can become a doctor, whatever it is. We can do that with our imagination, but then that all gets beaten out of us as we go into school, as we're told to conform, as we're put in desks and we're told to be like everyone else. But the programming you receive, I mean, think about it. The first 8 years of your life, you're programmed. It's like having a tape recorder inside your mind. Or I always tell people this: imagine you have a little book when you're a kid, and everything that happens to you, you take out your pen and you write it down in your book. You put it back in your pocket. And this happens for years and years with everything, every little moment, eating a hot dog, everything you do, you write it down. And then one day, when you're about 8 years old, you bring out your little pad, you open it up, and it's completely full. There is nowhere left to write. So instead of getting a new pad, what you do is take that pad and you stick it back in your pocket. And now, for the rest of your life, every time anything comes up in your life and you need to figure out what to do, you're going to go back to your little pad, you're going to open it, and you're going to see what you did in the past. And you're good. Remember, you wrote that book when you were a little kid. It doesn't make any sense. It's not logical, but that's what's happening to you, because that programming that was recorded until you were 8 is running in your mind anytime you slip out of the moment, anytime you're on autopilot, anytime you're driving and your mind's somewhere else, you slip into that routine, that programming, and it's old and it's rusty and it's outdated and it's not serving us anymore. We're programmed by, of course, our families. So if you grew up thinking being told you weren't good enough, you were too fat, you were too ugly, that rich people were evil, this, girls can't do this, boys can't do this, this. If you grew up with that, that's your programming. That's what you have in your mind right now. That's where racism comes from. That's where anything that is negative in your life is coming from that programming. Okay, because it's not just the family, it's the schoolmates, it's the teachers, it's the government, it's the media, it's everyone. We're programmed 24/7. Like I said earlier, everything that you see is a programming. I mean, TV program, it's a program. I mean, everybody knows what it is. They're getting inside your mind. They're telling you you're not good enough. They're telling you you're too fat, you're too this, you need this. If you have this, you'll be more like this. Right? That's all what it's about. It's all this BS smokescreen that we're doing. So it is a program, and you've got to get in there to figure out what it is. What is your program? What is running in that programming? So that's why awareness is the key. I say that in everything, but again, figure out what's going on in your mind. Figuring out where that comes from, it will start to leave you, because again, it's not logical. It wasn't created when you were mature. It doesn't make sense. Some people had to do things just to survive. Okay. It's not like that anymore. But that's the tape that's running when you slip on autopilot. So it's up to you, though. I can tell you about it. People have been talking about it for decades. But until you do something about it, until you take what I'm telling you, until you try some exercises, until you give yourself some time, really, you deserve time. You give time to everyone else. You give everyone else second, third, fourth chances. How about yourself? Give yourself some time and see what you can do. I promise you'll see some amazing things. Jane wants to know, what does energy have to do with changing my life? Good question, Jane. Energy is very important because everything is energy. I'm energy. Your energy. The studio is energy. The desk, the house, the tree, everything. Vibrating patterns of energy, vibrating patterns of light. And the same thing goes with thoughts. Thoughts are powerful. Thoughts can be measured outside the body. Thoughts can be measured from one person to another. Back in the day, when The Magic of Believing was written in 1948, he was touching on that, but it wasn't proven. Today, with quantum physics and all the things they can do, it's provable now. Okay? So energy comes into our life in everything that we do, because not only are we energy, thoughts have amazing energy, have power. Negativity, the same thing. If you know someone who's negative, and I have family members like this, and I talk about one all the time, and I always hope she never watches this because she'll know right away it's her, but she brings that into her life, right? Because she would go to the car wash, and somehow in the middle of the car wash, the car window came down and filled the car with soap. I've never heard that happening to anyone else, but you could be sure that anything negative that could happen was going to happen to her. And if you're in a negative relationship, if you're both negative, I call that a negativity vortex. That is dangerous because you're feeding off each other. And man, if the law of attraction is working for you, then you are bringing nothing but negativity into your life. So energy, if you look at power as energy, don't think about money. Think about your energy. You have a finite amount of energy every day. It's your willpower. It's your life force energy. It's your chi. It's the energy that is you. But you only have a certain amount. If we treated our energy like gold, which is what it is, it would be so much different. Because now, if an energy vampire, which is somebody who walks up to you and you have these people in your life, and they say to you, "How are you?" And you say, "I'm great. How are you?" And then they say, "Oh, and they go into a whole thing, right? That's an energy vampire. They are depleting your life force. They are sucking it from you. If you have a few of those people in your life, man, that is a bad place to be, because the frequency that they are vibrating on is those low frequencies. I mean, it's negativity, it's despair, it's anger, it's jealousy, it's whatever. Those are low frequencies. And in order to be with someone like that, to talk to someone like that, to get in a conversation with someone like that, you have to lower your frequency to meet theirs. You're never going to pull them up to your frequency. It's impossible. They have to do that. So you have to lower yours. And that is dangerous when you start doing that, when you start lowering your frequency. So energy, your life force, you have so much every day. If you understood that, you would be careful where you spend it, where you give that away, because it's a powerful commodity. Willpower is an amazing thing. We have so many things inside us that are being held there with willpower, things that we don't want to talk about, things that we've been through that we've kept inside of us, things that people call my stuff. In other words, don't go there with me, because we're about to get to an area that's going to make me uncomfortable, because I have a bunch of crap stored inside me, like a hoarder on that TV show. And it doesn't make any sense for it to be there anymore, but I can't look at it. I can't touch it. Yet, anytime anything happens that's remotely close to it, it flares back up again. So you have to figure that out. Again, these are all things that come with awareness, okay? But that energy, you can feel it when you're meditating. You can feel the energy. There is energy that is running through us 24/7, but we've got so much crap in there. We've got so many blocks and so much negativity and so much crap that we have stopped the flow of energy. Do you know, if something amazing happens, say you go on The Price is Right and you win a car, you know the feeling you get when something spectacular happens, that rush of energy. Where do you think that comes from? It's there. I mean, it's there running all the time, but that's one of the times you can feel it, because it's so intense. That energy, you can feel that all the time. You can feel that bliss, that happiness, no anxiety, no stress, all the time, if you learn to start getting rid of the things that are holding that energy from coming through you. And it's definitely there, and you'll feel it in meditation. So energy has everything to do with changing your life, because everything in life is energy. And when you start looking at things in the terms of vibrations and frequencies and energy, you'll change the way that you look at things. You'll change the way that you look at other people, and you'll change the way that you spend your time with people who aren't, let me find the right word, who don't value your energy. In other words, they're going to drain you. They're going to completely suck you dry. You want to be super careful about those people. If you've got to see one here and there, but I don't know. You got to be very, very careful about that. What are your opinion on ASMR? Would you ever produce such content? For example, maybe slapping your head a few times would be relaxing. Nice. Yes, you see, the great thing about this, and I love when people say anything about hair, or they say, oh, you're bald, you're this, and I worried about that for so long. When you get to a point where you're cool with yourself, all that stuff falls away. It doesn't make any difference, right? You don't care about it. So it is an amazing thing. So, and I know, somebody mentioned, the picture looks different. It does. This is an old picture, obviously. I shaved it. I think it looks better this way. I need to learn how to just get it completely like cue ball shaved, so it's completely bald there. And that will hopefully help out. So let's get to the next one. The next question is, what can I do right now to make changes? Well, I talked about it tonight about the things you can do right now. Awareness is huge. Put those post-it notes around the house. Put a heart, a happy face, a flower. When you see that, that's your time to stop. What's on my mind right now? Write it down. Don't judge. Look at it later. You'll start to see the amount of negativity you've got going on in your life. So be careful about it. Start paying attention to where these feelings are coming from, what thoughts are connected to your feelings, that sort of thing. So awareness is huge. It's the very first thing. Low-hanging fruit. Eckhart Tolle talks about this. So does Michael Singer, talking about the great places to start. If you want to start and you've never done anything before, how about traffic? You're stuck in traffic. You're upset. You're mad. The guy in front of you is driving too slow and it's upsetting you. And you're yelling and screaming and cussing the guy out and he's driving oblivious ahead of you. That's an easy thing to let go. And Michael Singer talks about that's a very easy thing to let go. How about the weather? That's another thing. It's I'm going on a picnic Saturday. Now it's raining. So now the universe hates me and my life is over. It's just weather. So that's an easy thing to give up too. Those are great ways to start. Awareness, big. So just start paying attention to what's on your mind, when it's on your mind, what the triggers are, what's bringing it up. The more time you give with yourself, we're all afraid of that. We're all afraid to go inward and to take a look and see what's going on in there. But you got to do it in a loving way, because again, so many things created when you were a child, when you weren't mature, when you haven't had the life experience you have now. So you want to let those things go. Okay. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but the more awareness you bring to it, the more you do that, it will become effortless to let these things go, because again, they won't stand up to any sort of scrutiny when you do kind of drag them into the light. So that's how you can start making changes right now. We're in a society where everybody wants it now. And that's what's so difficult. It is difficult. So the few places to start, right? So take one of those, just start figuring out what's on your mind. Another great thing is when you go to sleep at night, the last thing you do before you go to bed, be thinking something positive, be thinking about the goal that you want, be thinking about living the life that you want, and go to sleep that way. I used to love Wayne Dyer talks about you're going to marinate for 8 hours. So whatever's on your mind before you go to sleep, that's what your body's going to marinate on. So if you're thinking about all the horrible things that happened that day and all the crap that's going to happen tomorrow, that's exactly what your subconscious is going to be manufacturing all night long. So the last thing you do at night is you get yourself in that space of what you want. You want to try to feel it. You want to try to be happy. You want to feel some gratitude. Whatever you got to do, that's where fake it till you make it comes in. Fake the feeling until you can do something to create the feeling. That's what we're doing. Okay. So that's what the real fake it till you make it is. Now, don't forget, each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing the Mind Power Secrets podcast. It's just like this. It's content that you've asked for, questions that you've wanted to talk about, things that you wanted to go a little deeper on. But again, I'm here for you. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm leaving in about a month to do a month or so of cruises. I don't do them very often, but I'm doing this. I'm taking my time to help you, because it's all about the more people we awaken, the more people that learn how to use their own mind power to change their life. Those are the people we start to change the world, because things fall away that you think matter. All of this BS that we're living in, all this programming starts to go away, and you're living for once an authentic life for most of us. So join me every Wednesday, 7 p.m. streaming in my Facebook community. It's also streaming on my Facebook page. If you have a question, you have a comment, and there's something you want to know, just drop it into one of the comment boxes. Send me a private message in one of our groups. My team or I will see it, but we will always get back to you, usually within 24 hours. Now, if you're thinking about the group, the address is right there. It's brentsgroup.com. This is a private Facebook community I've created. I have cultivated it over the last 3 years or so. It's a really fantastic community. It's a family, and we are very selective. For every 6 people that apply, we take 1. And that is no BS, because you have to be somebody who is willing to to do some work on yourself, that wants to make change. You are somebody that wants to help other people. And that community, that's what they do in there. They help each other. I'm in there as well all the time, but there are so many fantastic people that post in there. Man, it's incredible. I see it every single day, the amount of people being helped by this group. So if you'd like to join, just go to brentsgroup.com, nothing to buy. I know how people love that. They think, oh, it's some sort of bait and switch. I'm here to try to help you, to try to teach you the techniques and the strategies I've been teaching for 30 years to celebrities and millionaires and sports teams and all of that stuff. I'm doing it because I want to help. I want you to get to that place where we can really make changes. So come to brentsgroup.com. It's Brent's Group, no apostrophe, brentsgroup.com. Now, if you were thinking about your mindset and what you needed to do, and if any of this seems overwhelming and you don't know where to start, well, I do have a gift for you. I have my newest book. It is free. Actually, we have a new one coming out soon. So this is the last book. So we have another 50 copies or so we're going to give away. If you'd like one, it's called 5 Steps to the Perfect Mindset. Nothing to buy. It is there for free. It is an easy read. I've condensed it all into about 60, 70 pages. It's the 5 things you need to do right now to get your mindset in line. So if you're ready, if you're tired of waiting, if you don't know where those dreams went, I promise you they're still there. They're waiting for you, and don't let them die. You got to make changes. And to do that, you got to get the right mindset. There are 5 things you need to get in the perfect frame of mind. And I'll take you from the beginning to the end. All 5 steps, hand in hand. I'll guide you along. So go to brentsfreebook.com. That makes it easy, right? No apostrophe, but it's brentsfreebook.com. That's all I got for you today. Be back next Wednesday live and in person, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Mind Power Secrets podcast. If you have any questions, comments, any show ideas, anything you want to talk about, or I would love to have somebody come on. So if you have a problem, you want to do it in real time, or you're somebody who we've helped in the past, send me a message. Let me know, because I'd love to bring you on and we could just have a conversation. I think people really could be inspired by that, by seeing, what you've done with your life. We had someone on a couple of weeks ago, Maria, and it was really an amazing, amazing story. So I want to thank you for watching, taking your time out of your night. I know how many things there are to watch and do. I mean, just on Netflix alone. So to be here with me tonight, I really appreciate that. I love all of you guys. If you need me, you can always reach out by private message. You can send me some sort of message in the group, but we always respond within 24 hours. And just remember, everything you need is already inside you. There's nothing to buy. Don't let anyone tell you got to take a course. You have to do this. You have to do that. It is you, but you've got to unlock it. You got to learn how to do that. And that's why I'm here. I'll see y'all next time. Remember, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See ya.